How was your day? Is he here?
Pretty good. Hey, we are live again with Helping the Brave. Sorry for our technical difficulties. We're hoping that our uh, guest will make his way back in, but we're not 100% certain. But I am here with Brandy, going the opposite
Hi,
direction.
guys.
And Brett Johnson is an Air Force veteran, and we will give him some time to get back. But Brandy, what's been going on in your world?
What's been going on? Lots of work, lots of work, lots of work, just lots of work. But it's not bad. It's good to stay busy. So that's always a plus. And if I could just figure out how to get on here on time correctly, then it would be good. So how was your day?
My day has been pretty good. I will say, one of the things that I've appreciated about this podcast
Mhm.
has been the access of finding veterans and veteran stories across the U.S. Like Brett said, he goes, I didn't realize that this was nationwide,
Mm.
and so that was kind of cool. But when
Mhm.
I was in Washington D.C. last week for the AUSA conference,
Uh-huh.
in one of the meetings, they gave us a shout out. So I thought that was pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's so awesome. That's great. That's gonna widen out the spectrum for sure. Everybody knows a
Well,
little bit of everything.
yeah, and I hope so. So I'm excited to get different people, their stories out, kind of what they're doing. So whether they, like Brett, have a business
Hmm.
or, doing different things within their communities.
Yeah.
So as we get more guests and, as everyone knows, or I hope everyone knows, it doesn't matter what service they chose,
Hmm.
although we do like to kind of razz one another.
Right.
So that's good.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And all the different service organizations that are around. Like we've had some really neat guests on.
Yeah.
Has there been anybody that you have been surprised about?
Not surprised. I think everybody has a really cool, great story. I love to hear like the underdog that kind of comes back and reclaims their life, and they're doing great things. So those are always amazing, great. Like, don't remember his name, and he's the one who was like he had like the yoga center or something.
Yes.
I thought he was
What was
so
his
cool.
name? I do. He knew a friend of mine, Wes King, but I can't remember his name. I'll have to
Hmm.
look that.
I
But yeah,
thought that was awesome. And then not last week, because last week I had something else to do, but the week before that, she had the SOS over.
support over stigma.
So, yeah, I really thought that was awesome. I was like, wow, what a great organization. I just think that this really helps veterans connect. I feel that it's also like a really good support system, and it just lets you know that there's like life after this, that there's after the military, there's people who are doing great and amazing things, and you might be interested too. And I just feel like it's just like a continuation of being out of something, and they can go to like another group or another organization. But it's all really cool stuff. I really like the SOS one, and then the yoga guy, I can't remember his name, but I thought he had a cool story.
It was a cool story. And I think I like how, like, I've gotten messages about connecting with different people. Like, I know
Hmm.
Operation Ward 57 was doing something with, uh, I think it's Ryan's Wings
Hmm.
that was just on last week. And I think that's kind of neat if we can, work together to help things out.
Yeah, it's always great. I love what the people are doing. It's so wonderful. I even reached out to the SOS. I don't remember her name though, but I was like, hey, I would love to like help people and talk them off the ledge a little bit and be some sort of support system, however that works. So I was so moved that I wanted to volunteer. I was like, this is amazing. So it's cool.
That is cool. And I got invited to emerging players and vets uh, biking event and stuff like that. And my
Mm,
husband and I went, and so that was kind of cool. And I think that had to do with the conversation with just veterans in this area. I didn't know anything about it
mm,
until Wes came on and really talked about it on the podcast, and
right.
then him and I connected more afterwards, and so that was kind of nice. And that's the whole point, is that it allows people to to build their networks and, you know, be able to share stories of people doing great things and
Right.
how, you know, serving our country has impacted us.
I agree. I think it's really great, really good, just to know that it's out there. You know, there's people doing different retreats, or they have, you know, mental health stuff, or there's stuff for resumes, or, you know, speaking engagements, or I don't know, different types of organizations. Like there's something for everybody, and this is like the little hub that everybody can like find out the information. I think it's really cool.
Right.
I
I
appreciate
agree.
it. It's really amazing. And I want to get my sister on here. I want to get I have like so many uncles that were in the military. I want to get them on here as well, but they're just taking a while. I'm like, come on, guys, you can do it.
Well, and I think that's it's norm like it ebbs and flows as far as, you know, having people wanting to tell their story. And I think it's also interesting the people that I think have these amazing stories and they're like, no, I don't know what I would say. And I'm like, are you kidding
Yeah.
me? You have so much to share.
Right. Your life is a movie. Yep.
Yeah, I
hmm
agree.
I know. You know, and I also didn't realize, like, when I think of like a veteran, I don't know why, but I think of like somebody who's been, they're like out of the military. But we were talking to Ed, and it's like, no, no, no. You're in the military for at least a year and you're a veteran. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. That like broadens the spectrum a lot more now. It's like, oh, okay, I need to start asking a couple of other people. Because I thought it was just people out of the service, and that qualified them as a veteran. But obviously, I didn't know the definition correctly. So
Well, I also think women have a tendency, we hide in plain sight. Like, we don't always show off being a veteran, kind of like our male counterparts,
hmm
unless we're retired or, you know. Um, but I think in the state of Washington, they said there's like 70,000 female veterans.
wow.
And um, I think like in the state of Florida, geez, I think it was about 120,000.
I would think so, because this is like the big retirement state. Everybody
Well,
wants
and
to
I think that
retire.
would be cool to have some women veterans that were in like the Army Air Corps, or you know what I mean, that their service was during Vietnam or Korea, or you know, and just trailblazers at different parts of, you know.
Yeah, I've never met a Vietnam anybody that was a woman ever. It's always been males.
So I think in this area, I met. So there's a class that the university or Pacific Lutheran University put on, but I think it's a nationwide class, and it's called a Clemente Humanities class, and it's free for veterans. In this class, we were talking about females in the service and how we've served throughout the ages, and it was a really interesting class. But one of the other women veterans that was in the class was one of the first female sergeant majors in CID.
Oh wow.
And I would like her to be on the class. And her and I talked about, it was a hard class, I will say. So I think PLU did a really great job.
Mm.
But other than, I guess my feedback was there's some guys in the class that
hmm
just wouldn't stop talking, you know, and the curriculum had things that it was trying to, you know, get to, and then they were trying to ask the women in the class kind of what our experiences were, but they asked everybody, and the guys just would like ramble for a half hour.
Hmm. Okay,
And I'm
maybe
like,
just kidding.
felt like I feel like you always have the opportunity, but I would have liked to have heard more from Carol and different things like that. But I think it's hard because if you go, hey, can I get a word in edgewise, you sometimes are seen as, you know, or you feel like you have to do something just to be heard. And
hmm But that would be really great to get a conversation with her. Really good. Really good. I wonder if we can make that happen. That'd be amazing.
I am going to very much try. Do you have anybody in your area that you said your family?
Yeah. So I have an uncle who was in the Vietnam War. His name is, I was going to say Uncle Donald. That's not his name. We call him Green. Green. His first name is Donald, but we call him Green. So he is somebody I want to talk to. I have another uncle named Brian, and he was in the Navy, and he had a really interesting career. So I would love to talk to him. I'd like to talk to my sister. I would love to talk to this my friend named Tracy. I think she has a pretty cool career too. Like she got in, pretty young, but she had made ranks so fast, like super quickly. But I would love to talk to those four. I got a couple other people that I want to talk to, but I got to reach out.
I think it's an interesting. It's just interesting to hear everybody, and then all of a sudden, I feel like I see veterans everywhere. You could be on my podcast. You could be on the podcast.
There's this one lady. I can never remember her full name. Sorry, my dogs are barking. She was on the Shark Tank, and she has this. It's called like mutt sauce or something like that.
Yeah, she's been on.
I love her. I think she's so amazing. I love her.
Yeah.
I love her. I think she's so great. She's the one who told me about the podcast like a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but it was, a while ago. I was just asking how can I get more involved with the veteran community? I need to reach out to some people. I feel like, I'm kind of disconnected. So she told me about the podcast, watched a couple of times. And then I ended up, I think I reached out to Ed. And then that's how I ended up getting on the podcast. But yeah, she told me about it. How cool is she? I think she's so amazing.
She is amazing. And I love her mutt sauce. I had some this morning. So I bought the 3 bottles, and I think Ed bought some like more extended. And there's one that's ghost pepper, which I haven't tried yet, but I like the original and I like the sweet and spicy.
I'm going to have to try. I love sauce on everything. Like I need sauce. So I gotta try it. But yeah, I'm pretty cool with her on Instagram, so I have to ask her for some sauce. But how cool she was on the Shark Tank. I think that's awesome.
I do too. Like her experiences were really neat, and she's very just very nice, super sweet lady to talk to.
Yeah, I like her.
And
she was cool.
Is she still serving? I think she's still serving.
Oh gosh, I'm not even sure. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe I might be getting her.
She was out, but I don't know.
We had like 2 or 3 women entrepreneurs on, and I want to say one of them was still serving, and I thought it was her, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I have an invention that I want to do, and I asked her. I was like, oh my gosh, I know you're on Shark Tank. Like, do you know any good like people who can do chemical stuff? Like I need somebody who can do that. She's like, yeah, sure. So she sent me to somebody, and I sat on it for a while. I finally ended up reaching out to the lady. Her name was like Nicole, Dr. Nicole something. And then, we got a little bit of stuff going, but then I stopped. And then I tried to reach back out to her, and now I can't get in contact. I'm like, oh my God, I shouldn't have waited. But it's okay.
All right. So we're going to know you. You're going to be super famous for some.
Oh my God, that'd be so great. Maybe, you never know. I think it's a pretty good invention. So
that's cool.
We shall see.
Well, I'm going to say our guest probably got fed up with the system, and I never saw him try, but it depends on if he saw my email and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I will let him know that he can
reschedule.
And thank you for everyone who did join us today. And as Ed always says, if you like us, follow, and Brandy, don't go anywhere.
Okay.